Hi everyone, Harry here. So sometimes we have somebody comes in with lower back pain. Let's try Googling some exercises online that's going to help with their symptoms. Most of the time these exercises involve you lying on your back, and those people often say, I can get on my back, I don't know if I can get back up. Also, a lot of those people tend to find getting up from sitting or sitting back down are the main movements that irritate the back. So what we're going to do here is a couple of movements that you can do while sat down on your chair that's going to help along with those symptoms and get things feeling a little bit looser. So find yourself a chair. So the best thing to do is usually a dining room chair, just because it's usually soft but firm. On a settee is a little bit too soft and you sink down. Anything too hard you can find it gets a little bit sore sitting there for a while. So we just want to sit towards the edge of the chair with the feet facing outwards and feet fully planted. So we're just going to start with some pelvic tilts. So the way that that's going to look like is we're imagining the pelvis is a cup of water, and we're just going to be pouring that water backwards down the legs and then forwards down along the front of the legs. So I'm going to exaggerate the movement here just to demonstrate the point. It's going to look like this sort of movement here. So it's best off just to start off with a small rocking movement, working within a range of motion that doesn't provoke symptoms. A little bit of soreness is absolutely fine, but as long as it doesn't cause too much soreness or it to go into spasm. So if you just follow along here, just to be doing those movements. So the next step after that is just to bring the legs nice and wide, hands on the knees, and we're just going to slowly lean forward. So we've got the hands here to control how far we can go, and we can use those to help push us back up in case the back starts to complain or starts to twinge a little bit. Again, those twinges aren't bad. We're not taking the back through a dangerous movement. It's just a movement that the back has started to interpret as a bad movement, and therefore it goes stop, and that's when it does these twinges. So after a couple of these, you should start to warm up a little and find you naturally able to go a little bit further. So we're going to change this up a bit by starting to slowly lean towards the left knee and back. So again, nothing too far, just working within a range of motion that feels comfortable. So there's no set number of repetitions to do this, but what we're looking for is a bit of a warm-up effect. I'm going to move to the right now. So a warm-up effect is just the muscles start to feel that they're getting a little bit looser, the range of motion is getting a little bit better, and you're feeling more comfortable. The opposite of a warm-up effect is obviously if you find you're just hitting into the barrier every time, it's just getting sorer, more uncomfortable. We're not wanting that. If you do get that, then just to either reduce the range of motion. So if you're finding when I get here, it's starting to jar a little, I'm just going to take it back a few degrees, and we're just going to work within that comfortable range. Okay, good. So the next one is going to be some knee rotation. So we're just going to let the knees drop in one at a time. So what you should find is if you put your hands on the side of your hips, the muscles here are starting to engage. So again, just to do these a couple of times each side. The next one, we're going to start to work along the back of the legs. In the same position here, I'm just going to start with the right leg. I'm going to take that right leg out forward. So don't do this what I'm about to do, but this is what it's going to look like. It's just going to be a straight leg with the heel touching the floor. I'll try and move just a little bit away. Okay, there we go. So whilst we're here, we're just going to lean forward from the chest towards this leg. So you should really feel a good stretch on the back of the leg, also onto the back. If this is a little bit strong, just bend the knees slightly, and that should take a bit of tension out of the system and mean you can go a little bit further. This one's going to be a hold, so we're not wanting to go backwards and forwards with this one, we're just wanting to stay here for a few seconds. And then back up, and then same again the other leg. What we can do is just put the hand on the opposite knee, if need be, to help just push ourselves up in case the back starts to complain. Okay, good, and back up. So just 2 more movements, so I'll just come a little bit closer. So these 2 more movements are going to be engaging these deep hip flexor muscles. These muscles here are the ones that attach from your front of the thigh down onto the lower back. So you may find sometimes lifting yourself out of bed or even climbing the stairs, which engages these muscles, can cause back pain. So even though it's at the front, it does attach onto the back. So we're just looking to engage that slightly just by lifting up this knee here. And we'll just go backwards, upwards and downwards, sorry. Again, work within a range of motion that feels comfortable, even if that's just a bit of a slight twitch. Good. And then the other side. Good. And then finally, we just want to introduce a little bit of rotation to the back. And we're just going to do this by taking the hand onto the outside of the right thigh, left hand on the right thigh, right hand out to the side, and just going to slowly twist over. And what's nice to do here is just use the breath. And what I mean by that is, every time you take a breath in, you should feel the muscles stretch out a little bit. And as you breathe out, you should find you can go a little bit further. If it's a bit sore when you take a big breath in, just do smaller breaths. Good. And turn back. Right hand onto left thigh, left hand just behind, and around and through. Good, and back around. So just with those movements there, what we've done is we've taken through the lower back in all of its ranges of motion. So backwards, forwards, to the left, to the right, and sideways either side. So although this may be a little bit sore whilst doing it, you should have felt that it's warmed up a bit and it's feeling a little bit easier. I'd say if your back is in a state of like an acute muscle spasm, it's quite sore to move around, to do this like 2 to 3 times a day, just to introduce a bit of movement into the back, and then hopefully you should start to feel a little bit easier. What I'll do is I'll do another one of these videos where it's just me doing those exercises, and you can follow through with that, follow through at home with those. This is a nice way of just explaining what we're doing here. Okay, any questions, feel free to message me, let me know what you think of this video, and I shall see you soon. Bye.